Next up on the Cosmic News Network, First Contact with Joshua Pope.
Good morning, Earthlings. Good. How you doing today? Good. How you doing today? Welcome to First Contact Radio. Welcome to First Contact Radio. To talk about all these things we're talking about is because in life, everything is energy. Every single thing that's out there.
Yo, it's First Contact with Joshua Pope. He's the man on the mic, just in case you didn't know it. Covering news from all around the globe, from the weather and space to UFOs. We'll talk politics and make you open your eyes. Conspiracy theories and government lies. We'll dig it all up and try to find the proof. Cause it's time to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio. We have arrived. First Contact Radio. We have arrived. First Contact Radio.
It's time to demand
First Contact Radio. We have arrived. First Contact Radio.
It's time to demand the truth.
That's it. I'll talk.
Good morning, Earthlings. How you doing today? Welcome back from the weekend. Hope you had a good time. First weekend of the year. Let's look at our cosmic weather. We had a full moon over the weekend, and we made a transition into the moon sign of Cancer. So we have a sun sign in Capricorn, a moon sign in Cancer. So let's first consider what the elements are. Capricorn is an earth sign, so the conscious mind, the things we are thinking about consciously, are dealing with the aspect of earth, physical things, the physical world. It's the beginning of the year, so we're thinking how we can make changes in our physical world. However, we're reminded by the tarot and the image that is associated with Capricorn, which is the devil, card of the devil, that we have to look past illusions. The Hebrew letter ayin teaches us to look past the illusion so we don't get caught up in the physical world. We're in this world, but we're not of this world. Okay, so we want to keep that in remembrance. Then we have our unconscious mind, which is a water sign, Cancer. Water moves. It can also stay still, but when water stays still, sometimes it can become stagnant. So the movement of the water is good. Water represents our emotions and our feelings. So underneath the surface we have this emotions and these feelings which are going on, and the outside we have the physical, dealing with the body, the earth. And so these are the two elements we're working with as we go forth, finding out how to make these two work well with each other. So as we move forward during the course of today, really we only have one aspect we're going to look at here, and that's coming up later this afternoon, 4:21 p.m. Pacific time. And this is where Mercury, communication, is going to be in a sextile with Saturn. Saturn is discipline, the disciplinarian. So we've got all of these feelings and stuff going on, and Mercury's going to jump into the mix with Saturn, and it's going to see how we can take and put all of this together and discipline our words, bring them into focus. Sometimes discipline is not a bad thing. Discipline sometimes is finding a way to focus. If you take the word discipline and you kind of look at it from another perspective and see discipline as maybe a, bringing together, consolidating, trying to find how something fits better. So discipline isn't always a bad thing. Sometimes it's a reorganization or a honing together of something. You know what I'm trying to say? So that's what the whole idea is. And with Mercury, the messenger, we're looking to how we're going to communicate our message. Sometimes we need to get a bit more focused on what we're saying. There's a word I was looking for, focused, in how we're going to say and express ourselves from the communication standpoint. Because our communication in the world is something that we deal with every single day. And we know that there can be miscommunications when we're not focused, and there can be very clear communications when we are. So the objective is to find a way how to be clearly communicating to others. And then as we look into the aspects that are going on today where we have these emotions, well, the emotions and the mind energy, sometimes they don't always fit so well together at first glance. So we have to make an effort to make them work, to bring these emotions into some sort of control so that we can focus them out into the words we want to speak. So we're always working with these elements. How do we make them work? It's like a recipe. How do we make these these different elements work, and it's very important the more that we consider and work with all of these energies. As we look at the Jewish calendar today, 14 Tevet is today's date. The thought for today is to become whole and half. To become one with another person, you must first recognize that you are but a broken half. Only then can you give all of yourself and become whole. To become one with the infinite light, you must know that you are but a broken half. The infinite light is your other half, and only then can you give all of yourself and then become whole. That seems to be a good reminder to us, the idea that we are co-creators in this process. And sometimes our egos want to jump in to the mix and we make it all about I, but it's not just I, it's I and God. So we're working together as a team, and when we forget that, that's when we seem to get into the most trouble. When we remember that, then we seem to have life moving smoothly, because we are a team. We're our co-creators, and that is the whole nature of how everything works. So the more that we can get in sync with that, the better off we are. I was having a great discussion with some friends about that over the weekend, and it's certainly a very good topic for, I think, all of us to look into, because it really gets us questioning and understanding more of our relationship with the Creator. And that's what all of life is about, really understanding our relationship with the Creator, with life, with everything that we're doing, because there is purpose to all of this, and the more we explore, the more we do find out what that purpose is. Full moon, we're still in that phase as we're going to start making our way back down from the full moon to the new moon. And that'll take about 2 weeks for us to get there. Solar wind at the moment is 507.8 kilometers per second. Planetary K index is currently in the quiet range. However, we're looking like we're going to be hitting some sort of storm within the next 24 hours. So we've got a 5 there. So we're moving up pretty good. Energy around us will be jumping. Big corona hole on the bottom here. It's closed up a little from what it was. Moving away from us, we've got another one coming into view here. Planetary or M-class flare possibilities up to 50%. X-class up to 10%. Geomagnetic storm activities dropped from 35 to going down to as low as 20 and even 1%. And the high latitudes were dropping as well from 50 to 30 over the next 24 to 48 hours. And that would be in part due to some solar wind that was coming off of this area here, subsiding as this is moving away from us. But then we've got another one coming in, so we're going to pay attention. So there's always something going on. Remember, this is just the breathing that's taking place. The universe breathes. We breathe. Everything breathes. And up in the sky for this week says that the bright moon forms a curving line this evening with Castor and Pollux to its upper left and Procyon to its lower right. Sirius and Procyon is in balance. From Procyon, look far to the right for the brighter Sirius, the dog star, sparkling low in the east-southeast after dinner time. Says if you live around the latitude 30° north, which would be Tijuana, New Orleans, Jacksonville area, the two canine stars will be at the same height above your horizon soon after they rise. If you're north of the latitude, Procyon will be higher. If you're south, Sirius will be the higher one. Okay, we've got a map here showing us from the 3rd, and then we have the map showing us tomorrow. So you can see, just kind of moving over, we're about over here today. Moving on, so we'll see this as we get closer. And that is our cosmic weather for today. UFO news is up next.
This is the UFO News with Joshua Poet.
Thank you, Dirk. Thank you very much. All right, first sighting here. UFO exits a mountain in Michoacan, Mexico. This is excellent proof that UFO bases are hidden below mountains and volcanoes around the world. This UFO exits the mountain and leaves the area. Being night, the UFO was more visible. Very cool catch. SCW Scott C. Waring. An extraordinary object crosses the sky of Michoacan, Mexico on December 30th, on the eve of the new year, apparently seen coming out of a mountain, which is in the area where you begin to identify a strange light that is moving. Several pictures of the object continuously taken in exposure of 13 to 15 seconds where it reaches, recording a foreign object that is moving in the sky, so very strange, and perishes. Be an extraordinary object. I will continue to investigate. It can be the strange object. I recommend you watch this video. Video is 4 minutes 59 seconds, and we definitely can see our objects. Let me see here. Let me jump ahead. There we go. There's our object. And if you watch the whole video, certainly enlarge it, you can see much better. Okay, I'm going to move on from here. This was New Year's Eve in London, UK. This was the object that was seen right here. Footage was taken during the live coverage of the BBC New Year's Eve fireworks when an unidentified flying object appears above the London Eye. Look closely in the right corner throughout as the Big Ben strikes midnight. Live celebrations from the Thames embankment with London's spectacular New Year's Eve display. There you go. That was the one in question. You can see it right there. More than just the fireworks. That one's zipping all over the place. Alright. Here we have one birdwatcher catches spectacular UFO on video, United Kingdom. A birdwatcher spotted something much more mysterious than birds in the sky above the English village of Burwell in Cambridgeshire. The witness reports that after a day of birdwatching on December 9th, a UFO was spotted in the distance. The birdwatcher, perplexed by this aerial object, recorded more than 5 minutes of video footage of the UFO. Okay, very good sighting. Looks like a big bird, so I guess the UFO watcher did get some kind of bird-like object. Except this one seems to be glowing more than probably was expected. Alright, upward trend in UFO sightings in New York for 6 years. Who knew UFO sightings for 2014 for New York would be continuing an upward trend? Typically, the New York winter months are cold weather and overcast skies with unusually impacts. This usually impacts the number of UFO sightings in our lovely state. Surprisingly, January and February sightings logged this year were double the usual amount for the dead of winter. Both national reporting databases showed higher than normal amounts of bright fireball-type UFOs. March and April sightings were about 25% above normal levels. May, June, July were at unusual levels, but August and September turned out to be the high season for the sightings this year. With 13% above normal sightings, add that to October, 59% higher than what is common. Finally, November and December were customarily sighting counts for the season high, for the holiday season. The real surprise was the final count for the year, topping out at around 540 sightings. This new level of UFO sighting in the state continues a 6-year upward trend, with 2010 and 2012 being statistical spikes. Here you could see the graph. And of course, over the years, you could see how it is increased. UFO sightings for 2014 wouldn't be complete without some world sighting numbers. December sightings are up 31% over November. Overall, global sightings are up 6% over 2013. And a quick look at the New York yearly trend suggests New York is on par with a global upward growth of reported UFO sightings. Okay. Here we have a sighting on the 3rd of January, San Antonio, Texas. object, and here's close-up of it. January 3rd, 2015, a UFO was captured on a video traveling high in altitude over San Antonio, Texas. As I was skywatching using a Sony TRV-310 20 times 360 zoom, a glowing UFO orb was observed. When zooming in, you can clearly see this UFO orb as it would fade in and out. It appears to emit a glow, reflect the sun's rays. It disappears and reappears. It was traveling overhead. In my opinion, the glowing object was clearly not a weather balloon, an aircraft, or a satellite. Okay, that's a good capture. 6-minute 27-second video. And you can see this from both the distance and the zoomed in views. All right. And one more UFO story for today. This takes us up to the moon. And you can see an object there. What do you see when you look at that? Looks like a pyramid. Sure does. Here we can see one side, another side. You can see the shadow of it. Here with the lines drawn over, you can see a little bit better. The location, this comes to us from Ryder Crater, Earth's moon. The photo was found by StreetCap1 of YouTube. He has an eye for catching these archaeological discoveries using NASA photos. This is a rare photo of the far side of the Earth's moon. The pyramid is a clear evidence of ancient aliens both Earth and on the moon. At 334.8 megabytes, I have had a look. Below is what I found when I look at the StreetCap1 photo found in the pyramid. I came across a metallic structure that looks new and shiny. It indicates metallic skin. It is not covered in dust, unlike its surroundings. This is an active alien base. Okay, this must be the shiny part he's referring to. Found this base in the dead center in the photo. It is unmistakable structure. Photo says it's the western wall of the Ryder Crater with prominent fallback ejecta and impact melt. So here you've got the video, 1 minute 2 seconds in length. All right. Very interesting indeed. And that is our UFO news for today. I'll be back. We'll continue on. Stay tuned.
Come into our circle, Great Spirit. Fill our souls with peace.
Continue on. So before I jump into the topic here, I wanted to address a question that came along from one of our viewers. The question was in regards to, can the brain be turned into a TV? And I'm going to get back to you, personally with some links and some things, but I think that's very possible. The question you ask is something that has been explored when we look at something like Project Bluebeam, and what they want to do with Project Bluebeam involves projections and using different technology to get into the brain, using the brain almost like a radio in one hand, so that it's picking up signals, maybe sounds like you're hearing voices, and even going so far as being able to project images into the brain. So from that perspective, is there technology that can try to project into the brain? Yes, they certainly are working on things. We've heard DARPA is working with such technology. The Project Bluebeam is, certainly that type of project. And there's other information out there about that. So, quick answer to your question, and I'll, dig up some other links and find some things. But if anybody else has some ideas and thoughts, send them on in, and I'll post them. And if you have any questions, what have you, I want to try to make a point that if you have questions on any particular subject, send them in, and I'll take time every day to address those questions and so on and so forth. And then Saturdays when I do the show on the KCAA, it's a call-in show. Perhaps y'all can call in and we could make a discussion there as well. So this week I want to turn our attention to a particular topic that we'll deal with for this part of the show. And here's where this kind of stemmed from. There was a discovery recently that occurred, and the discovery happened to be, says, a unique inscription in the ancient church. What may be the oldest church remains in Israel were also among the most inaccessible when they were discovered in 2005 in the grounds of a military prison in Megiddo. Work on a detention cells to replace the prisoner's tenant camp were underway when the inmate worker discovered ancient remains. A prayer hall measuring about 10 meters by 5 meters was found in the southwest corner of a large building that also furnished a Roman military administrative center. Believed to be in the middle of the 3rd century before Christianity became the religion of the Roman Empire, it eventually served Christian soldiers in the 2 Roman legions based there, as well as a local Christian community. As the superbly preserved mosaic floor and inscription records what a woman named Ectepus offered the Eucharistic table to God, Jesus Christ, as a memorial. No earlier inscriptions mentioning Jesus Christ has been found in the Holy Land. So that is right there. That's the discovery. So as I was going through this, beginning of this, got into Megiddo. So Megiddo, named in the book of Revelation as the setting for future battle between the forces of good and evil, is for archaeologists perhaps the most important site in Israel dating from biblical times. Its much excavated Tel, a mound rising 60 meters above its surroundings, has revealed remains of at least 20 cities, but one on top of the other. The 6-hectare site has yielded temples, lavish palaces, massive fortifications, private houses, a grain silo, and an elaborately engineered water system. Megiddo is 35 kilometers southwest of Haifa, at the southern end of the fertile Jezreel Valley. Destroyed and rebuilt many times during its turbulent history, it was occupied almost continuously from around 6000 BC until about 500 years before Jesus Christ was born. From a strategic position overlooking the key pass through the Carmel Mountains, it dominated the crossroads of ancient trade and military routes that linked Egypt with Mesopotamia and Asia Minor. Armies of the great generals who campaigned in the Middle East trampled across the plain of Jezreel, from the Egyptian pharaoh Thutmose III to General Edmund Allerby, including Alexander the Great and Napoleon. As Thutmose III claimed in the 15th century BC, capturing Megiddo is as good as capturing 1,000 cities. In 2005, the remains of an ancient Christian prayer hall were uncovered in the grounds of a nearby prison, dated to the middle of the 3rd century. This may be the oldest church discovered in Israel. A mosaic inscription with the words God, Jesus Christ may be the earliest ever found that mentions Jesus Christ. So, as I was looking and reading through this, right off the top, the article here, it mentions Book of Revelation, and I thought, with everything that's going on in the world today and the talk of the end times, it would be good for us to explore the Book of Revelation. But one of the things about the Book of Revelation that has been discussed is that the Book of Revelation is a book that makes reference to other places in the Bible, other books. There's a secret that can be revealed, and we need to get reference to that. And one of these books that is very significant to understanding the Book of Revelation is the book of Daniel. So this week, we're going to read through the book of Daniel. I'm going to focus on the book of Daniel. Next week, if we get through the book of Daniel, we're going to jump into the next book, which would be the book of Revelation, to get an understanding of what these books are about. So what I pulled up here is this is the Bible Gateway. See the link right up here. And Bible Gateway, you can go and you can see all the different versions of the Bibles. And since it's just a very common Bible that is used by so many, I'm going to start off with the King James Version. Now this is one version. There's plenty of others. This is what I'm simply going to start off with. Daniel 1. In the 3rd year of the reign of Jehoiakim, king of Judah, came Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, unto Jerusalem, and besieged it. And the Lord gave Joachim, king of Judah, into his hand with part of the vessels of the house of God, which he carried into the land of Shinar, to the house of his God. And he brought the vessels into the treasure house of his God. And the king spake of Ashpenaz, the master of his eunuchs, that he should bring certain of his children of Israel, and of the king's seed, and of the princes, children in whom was no blemish, but well favored, and skillful in all wisdom, and cunning in knowledge, in understanding science, as such as had ability in them to stand in the king's palace, and whom they might teach the learning and the tongue of the Chaldeans. And the king appointed them a daily provision of the king's meat, and of the wine, which he drank, so nourishing them 3 years, that at the end thereof they might stand before the king. Now among these were the children of Judah, Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, unto whom the prince of the eunuchs gave the names. For he gave unto Daniel the name of Belshazzar, and to Hananiah Shadrach, and to Mishael Meshach, and to Azariah Abednego. But Daniel proposed in his heart that he would not defile himself with the portion of the king's meat, nor with the wine which he drank. Therefore he requested of the prince of the eunuchs that he might not defile himself. Now God had brought Daniel into favor with and tender love with the prince of the eunuchs. And the prince of the eunuchs said unto Daniel, I fear my lord the king, who hath appointed your meat and your drink. For why should you see your faces worse likening than the children which aren't of your sorts? Then shall ye make me endanger my head to the king. Then said Daniel to Melzar, whom the prince of the eunuchs had set over Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, Prove thy servants, I beseech thee, 10 days, and let them give us pulse to eat, and water to drink. Let our countenances be looked upon before thee, and the countenance of the children that eat of thy portion of the king's meat, and as thou seest, deal with thy servants. So he consented to them in this matter, and proved them 10 days. And at the end of 10 days their countenances appeared fairer and fatter in flesh than all the children which did eat the portion of the king's meat. Thus Melzar took away the portion of their meat and the wine that they should drink, and gave them pulse. As for these 4 children, God gave them knowledge and skill in all learning and wisdom. And Daniel had understanding in all the visions and dreams. Now at the end of days that the king had said he should bring them in, then the prince of the eunuchs brought them before Nebuchadnezzar. And the king communed with them And among them was found none like Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. Therefore stood before the king, and in all matters of wisdom and understanding. And the king inquired of them, and he found them 10 times better than all the magicians and astrologers that were in his realm. And Daniel continued even until the first year of King Cyrus. Daniel 2. And in the 2nd year of the reign of Nebuchadnezzar, Nebuchadnezzar dreamed dreams, wherewith his spirit was troubled, and his sleep brake from him. Then the king commanded to his magicians and astrologers, and the sorcerers and the Chaldeans, for to show the king his dreams. So they came and stood before the king. And the king said unto them, I have dreamed a dream, and my spirit was troubled to know the dream. Then spake the Chaldeans to the king in Syriac, O king, live forever. Tell thy servants to dream, and we will show the interpretation. The king answered and said to the Chaldeans, The thing is gone from me. If ye will not make known unto me the dream, with the interpretation thereof, ye shall be cut in pieces, and your houses shall be made a dunghill. But if ye shew the dream, and the interpretation thereof, ye shall receive of me gifts and rewards and great honor. Therefore show me the dream, and all the interpretation thereof. They answered again and said, Let the king tell his servants to dream, and we will show the interpretation of it. And the king answered and said, I know of certainty that ye would gain the time, because ye see the thing is gone from me. But if ye make not known unto me the dream, but there is but one decree for you, for ye have prepared lying and corrupt words to speak before me, till the time be changed. Therefore tell me the dream, and I shall know that ye can show me the interpretations thereof. The Chaldeans answered before the king and said, There is not a man among the earth that can show the king's matter. Therefore there is no king, lord, nor rulers that ask such things as any magician or astrologer or Chaldean. And it is a rare thing that the king requireth, and there is none other than can show it before the king except the gods whose dwelling is not with the flesh. For this cause the king was angry and very furious, and commanded to destroy all the wise men of Babylon. And the decree went forth that the wise men should be slain, and they sought Daniel and his fellows to be slain. Then Daniel answered with counsel and wisdom to Arioch, the captain of the king's guard, which was gone forth to slay the wise men of Babylon. He answered and said to Arioch, the king's captain, Why is the decree so hastily from the king? And Arioch made the thing known to Daniel. Then Daniel went in and desired of the king that he would give him his time, and that he would show the king the interpretation. Then Daniel went into his house, and made the thing known to Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, his companions, that they would desire mercies of the God of heaven concerning the secret, that Daniel and his fellows should not perish with the rest of the wise men of Babylon. Then was the secret revealed unto Daniel in a night vision. Then Daniel blessed the God of heaven. Daniel answered and said, Blessed be the name of God for ever and ever, for wisdom and might are his. And he changed the times and the season. He removeth kings and setteth up kings. He giveth wisdom unto the wise, and knowledge to them that know understanding. He revealeth the deep and secret things. He knoweth what is in the darkness, and the light dwelleth with them. I thank thee and praise thee, O God of my fathers, who hath given me wisdom and might, and hast thou known unto me what we desired of thee, for thou hast now made known unto us the king's matter. Therefore Daniel went unto Arioch, whom the king had ordained to destroy the wise men of Babylon. He went and said thus unto him, Destroy not the wise men of Babylon. Bring me in before the king, and I will show the king the interpretation. Then Arioch brought in Daniel before the king in haste, and said thus unto him, I have found a man of the captives of Judah, that will make known unto the king the interpretation. The king answered and said unto Daniel, whose name was Belshazzar, Art thou able to make known unto me the dream which I have seen, and the interpretation thereof? Daniel answered in the presence of the king, and said, The secret which the king hath demanded cannot the wise men, the astrologers, the magicians, the soothsayers show unto the king. But there is a God in heaven that revealeth secrets, and make known to the king Nebuchadnezzar what shall be in the later days. Thy dream and the visions of thy head upon the bed are these. As for thee, O king, my thoughts came into mind upon the bed, what should come to pass thereafter. And he that revealeth secrets maketh known to thee what shall come to pass. But as for me, the secret is not revealed to me for any wisdom that I have more than any living, but for the sakes that shall make known the interpretation to the king, and that thou mightest know the thoughts of thy heart. Thou, O king, sawest, and behold, a great image. The great image, whose brightness was excellent, stood before thee, and the form thereof was terrible. The image head was of fine gold, his breast and his arms silver, his belly and his thighs of brass, his legs of iron, his feet part of iron and part of clay. Thou sawest till that a stone was cut out without hands, which smote the image upon the feet that were of iron and clay, and brake them into pieces. Then was the iron, the clay, the brass, the silver, and the gold broken into pieces together, and became like chaff of the summer threshing floors, and the wind carried them away, that no place was found for them. And the stone that smote the image became a great mountain, and filled the whole earth. This is the dream, and we will tell the interpretation thereof before the king. Thou, O king, art a king of kings, for the God of heaven hath given a kingdom, power, and strength, and glory. And wheresoever the children of men dwell, the beasts of the field and the fowls of the heaven, hath he given unto thine hand, and hath made ruler over all. Thou art this head of gold. And after thee shall arise another kingdom inferior to thee, and another third kingdom of brass, which shall bear rule over all the earth. And the fourth kingdom shall be as strong as iron, inasmuch as iron breaketh in pieces and subdueth all things. And as iron that breaketh all things shall it break in pieces and bruise. And whereas thou sawest the feet and the toes, part of the potter's clay, and part of iron, the kingdom shall be divided. But there shall be in it of the strength of the iron, forasmuch as thou sawest the iron mixed with the murry clay. And as the toes of the feet were part of iron and part of clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken. And whereas thou sawest iron mixed with murry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seeds of men, and they shall not cleave to one another, even as iron is not mixed with clay. And in the days of these kings shall the God of heaven set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed. And the kingdom shall not be left to other people, but it shall break into pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever. Forasmuch as thou sawest that the stone was cut out of the mountain without hands, and that it brake into pieces the iron, the brass, the clay, the silver, and the gold, the great God hath made known to the king what shall come to pass hereafter. And the dream is certain, and the interpretation thereof sure. And the king Nebuchadnezzar fell upon his face and worshipped Daniel, and commanded that they should offer an oblation and sweet odors unto him. The king answered unto Daniel, and said, O, of a truth that is, that your God is a God of gods, and a Lord of kings, and a revealer of secrets, seeing thou couldest reveal this secret. Then the king made Daniel a great man, and gave him a great many gifts, and made him ruler over the whole province of Babylon, and a chief of the governors of all the wise men of Babylon. Then Daniel requested of the king, and he set the Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego over the affairs of the province of Babylon, but Daniel sat in the gate of the king. 3. Nebuchadnezzar the king made an image of gold, whose height was 60 cubits, and the breadth thereof 6 cubits, and he set it upon the plain of Dur in the province of Babylon. Then Nebuchadnezzar the king sent to gather together the princes, the governors, and the captains, the judges, the treasurers, the counselors, the sheriffs, and all the rulers of the provinces, to come to the dedication of the image which Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up. Then the princes, the governors, the captains, the judges, the treasurers, the counselors, the sheriffs, and all the rulers of the province were gathered together unto the dedication of the image that Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up. and they stood before the image that Nebuchadnezzar had set up. Then an herald cried out, To you it is commanded, O people, nations, and languages, that at this time ye hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, dulcimer, and all kinds of music. Ye fall down and worship the golden image that Nebuchadnezzar the king hath set up. And whoso falleth not down and worship shall the same hour be cast into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. Therefore at that time, when all the people heard the sounds of the cornet, flute, sackbut, psaltery, and all kinds of music, all the people, the nations, and the languages fell down and worshipped the golden image that Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up. Wherefore at that time certain Chaldeans came near and accused the Jews. They spake, they said of the king of Nebuchadnezzar, O king, live forever. Thou, O king, hast made a decree that every man shall hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, and dulcimer, and all kinds of music shall fall down and worship the golden image. But whoso falleth not down and worship, that he should be cast into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. There are certain Jews whom thou hast set over the affairs of the province of Babylon, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. These men, O king, have not regarded thee. They serve not thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up. Then Nebuchadnezzar in his rage and fury commanded to bring Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Then they brought these men before the king. Nebuchadnezzar spoke and said unto them, Is it true, O Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego? Do not ye serve my gods, nor worship the golden image which I have set up? Now if ye be ready that at that time ye hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, and dulcimer, and all kinds of music, ye fall down and worship the image which I have made. Well, but if ye worship not, ye shall be cast the same hour into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. And who is it that God shall deliver ye out of my hands? Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego answered and said to the king, O Nebuchadnezzar, we are not careful to answer thee in this manner. If it be so, our God whom we serve is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace, and he will deliver us out of thy hand, O king. But if not, be it known unto thee, O king, that we will not serve thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up. Then Nebuchadnezzar, full of fury, and the form of the visage was changed against Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Therefore he spake and commanded that they should heat the furnace over 7 times more than it was wont to be heated. And he commanded the most mighty men that they were in his army to bind Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and to cast them into the burning fiery furnace. And these men were bound in their coats, their hosen, and their hats, and their other garments, and were cast into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. Therefore, because the king's commandment was urgent, and the furnace exceedingly hot, the flames of the fire slew these men that took up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And these 3 men, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, fell down, bound in the midst of the burning fiery furnace. Then Nebuchadnezzar the king was astonished, and rose up in haste, and spake, and said unto his counselors, Did not we cast 3 men bound in the midst of the fire? They answered and said unto the king, True, O king. He answered and said, Lo, I see 4 men loose, walking in the midst of the fire, and they have no hurt, and the form of the 4th is like a son of God. Then Nebuchadnezzar came near the mouth of the burning fiery furnace, and spake and said, Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego, ye servants of the most God, come forth and come hither. Then Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego came forth from the midst of the fire. And the princes, governors, captains, and king's counselors, being gathered together, saw these men, upon whose bodies the fire had no power, nor was a hair of their heads singed, neither were their coats changed, nor the smell of fire had passed on them. Then Nebuchadnezzar spake and said, Blessed be the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who hath sent his angel and delivered his servants that trusted in him, and have changed the king's word, and yielded their bodies, that they might not serve nor worship any god except their own God. Therefore I make a decree, that every people, nation, and language which speak anything amiss against the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego shall be cut in pieces, and their houses shall be made a dunghill, because there is no other God that can deliver any this after this sort. Then the king promoted Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in the province of Babylon. So there you go. That's chapters 1, 2, and 3. I'm going to continue on tomorrow, and I'm going to make it all day, all week long. We're going to get through the book of Daniel. Next week, we're going to aim for the book of Revelation. All right? So, continuing on. Here's an article at In5D. It's called Fifth Dimension Consciousness by Trish Lesage. We're living during a monumental time in which humanity is experiencing a shift to higher consciousness. We are shifting from third-dimensional consciousness to fifth-dimensional consciousness. The following is what one may experience once they have reached fifth-dimension consciousness and beyond. When a person reaches fifth-dimension consciousness, they may experience existing in a permanent state of peace, bliss, love, and joy. No effort is required on their part to remain in this state. This takes place naturally and automatically. All dissonant energy is automatically filtered out. In addition to automatically existing in a permanent state of peace, bliss, love, and joy, people who have reached fifth dimension consciousness may begin to automatically see themselves in everyone, whether it be humans or animals. They may also begin to automatically feel love for everyone. Furthermore, no negative thoughts stream into the mind of a person who has reached fifth dimension consciousness. In fact, all negative thoughts are automatically filtered out of their mind. The mind is automatically quiet without the constant chatter and the flows into the third-dimensional mind. In fact, there are not very many thoughts that enter a mind that has reached fifth-dimensional consciousness unless the thoughts are necessary in moving them from one event or moment to the next event or moment. When a person reaches fifth-dimension consciousness, their perception of time may slow down considerably. Time in the clock of the wall may seem to pass more quickly, but the mind does not perceive that very much time has passed. This may be compared to what happens when a person experiences physical death. During physical death, a person transitions from third dimension consciousness to fourth dimension consciousness. It is said that while years may pass on earth, it may seem like only minutes have passed in the spirit world. Our perception of time slows down as we transition from 3D consciousness to fourth dimension consciousness during physical death. This is why it may seem that much time has passed in the spirit world while a lot of time has passed on earth. Those who have ever had a close brush with death as a result of an accident or nearly being in an accident may have noticed that their mind starts moving more slowly in these situations. Everything appears to happen in slow motion. The soul is getting ready to transition from third dimension consciousness to fourth dimension consciousness in these situations, so that the person may exit through the portal of death. Hence their perception of time slows down. Sometimes a change to the divine plan of a person's life is made, however, and they miraculously barely escape from harm, often at the last second. One may also notice that if they use self-hypnosis or meditation, it may seem as though not much time has passed, but according to the clock on the wall, a lot of time may have passed. Again, in these cases, the mind is transitioning beyond the third dimension. The same phenomena happens when we are physically alive in the third dimension body on the 3D earth, and our energy vibration increases as we ascend to the fifth dimension consciousness. Our perception of time slows down. When a person reaches fifth dimension consciousness, they only live in the present moment with no reference to the past. They can access past memories if they need to. However, a person who has reached 5D consciousness does not dwell in the past. Their mind is automatically focused on the present moment with no effort required on their part at all whatsoever. It is simply a state of being that they automatically live in. Since a person who has reached fifth dimension consciousness is automatically living in the present moment, they also do not have any reference to the future, which means that they do not have any memories on their minds about the future neither. They simply live from the moment to the moment and from one event to the next. A person who has reached fifth dimension consciousness may also experience increased psychic and intuitive abilities. They may experience any of the following: clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience, clairgustance, clairliance, clairempathy, claircognizance, telepathy, premonitions, ESP, prophecy, split connections, kinetic energy, and so on. It says a person who has reached 5D consciousness may also shift from a state of mind based on a belief to a state of mind based on intuitive knowledge. Intuitive knowledge goes beyond one system belief. It is an inner knowing. Similarly, one who has automatically know whether information is true or false based on how the energy of information resonates. As everything in existence is simply energy, there is nothing in existence that is not energy. Even our thoughts are energy. Manifestation is also much easier when a person reaches fifth dimension consciousness. No meditations, visualizations, rituals, putting a lot of energy into statements of intent, nor any focus on nor knowledge of the law of attraction is required neither. Just a simple light of thought about what is desired is enough to manifest into physical reality. And in a lot of situations, no thought about desire is even required, as everything is simply synchronized so that what they need is there exactly when and where they need it. This is indeed a very interesting time in which to be alive on Earth. We are headed to a state of existence that is free from the dissonance and the restrictions of the three dimensions, and it is a whole and beautiful state of existence to live in. So there's a nice vision of what is available to us as we go through these dimensional realities and these changes. Certainly, I concur that this is a very fascinating time we are in, and what we are experiencing and will be experiencing as we continue to move forward definitely is something that I think we're all going to really enjoy. And I believe that we all will have the opportunity to experience all of these things that we were talking about, which is the reason why I'm getting into the book of Daniel and the book of Revelation, because I do believe, as others do, that we are living in the end times. Not the end times as the end of the world, the end times as the end of this cycle that we have been going through, and the beginning of a much better cycle, a newer cycle, a new opportunity, new beginnings. So I see that the darkness, all the stuff that's going on in the world, is building to a head, because the darkness knows that it's on its way out. All the evil and stuff that's going on is trying to have one last grasp before it gets snuffed out by this new cycle that is coming. And so that's why I see things intensifying. So we have something to look forward to, something that is unfolding right in front of our very eyes. We just need to keep paying attention. To those with ears, let them hear. To those with eyes, let them see. Here is our message for today. It comes to us from the angels.
Message from the Angels.
By Ann Albers, January 3, 2015.
The Angels.
My dear friends, we love you so very much. Happy New Year, dear ones. Happy New You. Already you are 3 days into 2015. Are you sticking to your resolutions? Have you even made any? Here in the heavens we aren't concerned about that at all. We love you exactly as you are. If resolutions are important to you, we will assist, but what we care about more than anything else is assisting you in experiencing and sharing love in your daily lives. If it is loving to go to the gym and work out, then do so. If you must beat yourself up to get there, find a different form of movement. Whatever it is you resolve, dear ones, or not, do so with love. Treat yourself with gentle kindness this year. Treat yourself as if you are a precious being, beloved by God, for indeed you are. If you knew that when you looked in the mirror, God was looking through those eyes, what would you say? How would you treat yourself? For whether you realize the truth of it or not, God is looking through your eyes, and every pair of eyes upon your planet Earth. God is in you, around you, and in all beings, whether they realize it or not. So this year, when you look in the mirror in your own eyes, strive to see God's love looking back at you. Strive to focus on the truth of your being whether or not you feel it. No matter what you feel or how you look, can you say, I am the love of God fashioned into a human being. God's love lives within me. God's love breathes through me. I choose to embrace that truth. I choose to look for that love in my own eyes. I choose to ask for that love to rise up within me, and fill me. I choose to look for that love and light in all others as well. Dear ones, aligning with God, aligning with love, will give you a joyous experience of life in the coming year, no matter what everyone else is choosing. It is in that reality that you have best access to your guidance, your inner power, and the God-given abilities that your soul wishes to express this lifetime. Choose love, dear ones. Choose truth. Choose, no matter what you see upon the surface in yourself, in others, or in the news, to believe that love that lives within and beneath all things. Set your sights there, dear ones, and your year will be a beautiful experience of abiding in grace. God bless you. We love you so very much. The Angels.
All right, nice message. Kind of confirms what we were talking about. Warrior the Light passage for today. A warrior knows that certain moments repeat themselves. He often finds himself faced with the same problems and situations, and seeing these difficult situations return, he grows depressed, thinking that he is incapable of making any progress in life. I've been through this before, he says with his heart. Yes, you have been through this before, replies his heart, but you have never been beyond it. Then the warrior realizes that his repeated experience seemed to have one aim, to teach him what he does not want to learn. Good message indeed. That brings us to our meditation for today. So close your eyes, take a deep breath, and exhale. Take another deep breath. Exhale again. Just contemplate what was discussed today. The words of Daniel and the trust in God that brings safety and security to all. The understanding from the angel's message of the change we are going through. The words from the warrior of light about understanding the lessons that come in the repeated activities that occur. And just notice the similarity, the synchronicity of all of these messages. They all speak to the words of change, of bringing forth that which is within. To an understanding and a state of faith. To contemplate the idea of faith, what that is. Faith in the Creator. Faith in oneself. Faith in humanity. And as we go through life, just contemplate how faith plays itself out in one's life, in your life. Imagine what it is to be faithful, and how in the process of faith, doubts and fears dissipate. And imagine yourself walking through life, faithful, wearing this armor of faith, the armor of God that keeps you safe and protected. And knowing that all it takes is a thought to put yourself in that place. So imagine yourself wearing the armor of God, strengthened and protected by your faith. And imagine seeing the world and those you meet in the same place. And simply imagine the world and the possibilities that exist when we all are living from this place of faith. So let the subconscious mind continue on that journey. Let's contemplate these affirmations. Everything in my life works now and forevermore. Every decision I make is the right one for me. All that I need to know at any given moment is revealed to me. My intuition is always on my side. And today is the future I created yesterday. So allow those words and affirmations to reverberate through your mind with all of the other lessons of faith. And just go through the day contemplating the synchronicities and the similarities of the messages of faith that come through you, to you, for you. So the subconscious mind continues on that journey, and let's bring the conscious mind back to the present moment on the count of 3. 3 coming back to the present moment filled with confidence. 2 coming back to the present moment filled with faith. And 1 coming back to the present moment happy, healthy, and whole. Happy, healthy, and whole. Take another deep breath. Exhale. And open your eyes. And that's it, my friends. That's the show for today. Thank you very much for being here. Maybe pick up the book of Daniel, read through, kind of read ahead, but that's what we're going to be focusing on this week. If you have any thoughts, questions, discussions about it, send them across. Otherwise, have an awesome day. I love you. Keep loving each other, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace. I'm out of here.